Hallo und willkommen zu Lone Star. Wir spielen Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, The London Case. So. Und wen haben wir denn diesmal im Diner? Zack. Na, ich hoffe mal, dass nicht er Dreck am Stecken hat.
Finally a face I can trust.
Everything all right, Poirot?
I'm afraid things could not be further from all right.
Don't tell me the famous Detective Poirot is stumped.
Stumped? No. Perplexed? Oui. Perhaps you can be my perfect distraction.
What's that you're reading?
I may not be the celebrated doctor that my father hoped for, but I still like to keep up with recent medical journals.
And what is the latest discovery?
Cocaine is an alkaloid extract from the leaf of the Erythroxylon coca plant, which usually grows in South America. Its most available common form being hypochlorite salt, which can be taken orally, intranasally, or intravenously. The peak effect ranges from 1 to 90 minutes depending on route of administration. Cardiovascular effects of cocaine use. The most common symptoms in cocaine users is chest pain, and the most common cardiac disorders is ischemia and acute coronary syndrome, which can occur with all routes of cocaine intake. Other cardiac problems include myocarditis, cardiomyopathy, was für ein Ding? Cardiomyopathy and arrhythmias. Cocaine increases heart rate, blood pressure, and myocardial contractility, all of which increase myocardial oxygen demand. With increased availability, the number of cocaine users continues to escalate, with many findings that can be considered positive effect of the drug, outweighing the potential and likely hazardous risks. Aha, also super Erfindung.
This particular article is about the effect of cocaine on the user's body. I thought I liked to have a good time, but that drug, too much for me.
What makes you say that?
I wouldn't want my heart beating at the speed of a locomotive. Here, read for yourself.
Have you seen Monsieur Aylesworth since his heart attack? Ah, der ist der Drogenjunkie.
I haven't actually. I gave him my office telephone number and said he could call anytime, but not a peep.
You sound surprised.
Well, he probably wants to keep his health issues out of the public eye. Hence me offering to help, but he seems to be just fine, surprisingly.
You question Monsieur Aylesworth's health?
Do you think there is a chance he could have faked it all? How those little gray cells of yours work sometimes. Amazing!
Please, my friend.
You're serious? Don't know why, but I suppose he could have.
At this point, anything is a possibility. I think a visit to Monsieur Aylesworth at the Royal Society of Art is in order. Mademoiselle Babagna, a pleasure as always.
Was? Wir haben doch gerade mit Zack geredet.
Good morning,
Ja,
gentlemen.
okay, sie ist dazugekommen.
I'm afraid my pleasantries are to be cut short this morning. I have a most pressing matter. Good morning, mademoiselle. My apologies for my earlier departure.
That's quite all right. Mr. Demir informed me of the facts.
The case has taken a direction I had not foreseen, and it now leaves me.
I will not stand here and listen to you wallow. How can I help?
Gar nicht.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
Weil wir das nicht gemacht haben, was er jetzt vorhatte. Und da kam er jetzt ganz durcheinander. Aber auch kein Wunder. Der Poirot hat ja eine leichte Schwäche wohl für sie. Und da kommt er schon mal durcheinander.
Just a moment. I'm coming.
What a great commotion coming from behind the door. What on earth is Monsieur Aylesworth up to?
Es waren irgendwelche Schubladen.
Ah, Detective. What can I do for you?
Also, der ist ein Drogenjunkie.
Could you spare a moment of your time? If you are feeling up to it?
Why wouldn't I?
You are recovering from a potentially fatal heart attack. I would not want to aggravate or upset you in any way.
Your movements on the night of Mademoiselle Court's Majestas.
Are we really going over this again?
Ja, auf jeden Fall.
It would help me clear up some discrepancies.
Very well. As I've said before, I was in the House of Commons addressing the bench, as you know. And then I was speaking with the reporter.
The editor, Nathaniel Dryden.
If you say so, at the news office.
Monsieur Aylesworth is sticking to his story. I did not expect that it would be easy to unsettle a politician of his experience.
You have not contacted Monsieur Demir.
And why would I? And why would I? Oh, to thank him for his help at the museum. Yes, of course. I've been meaning to send him a thank you gift.
One would think that thanking the man that saved your life would be further up your priorities.
I'm a very busy man, as I'm sure you understand. And I don't know whether I'd go as far as saying he saved my life.
On the contrary, had Monsieur Demir not been there with his extensive medical training and a man of your age, perhaps you would not be here talking with me today. If Monsieur Aylesworth is not prepared to tell the truth, perhaps I can use his own pompous nature and guilt against him.
The nurse said herself that I had the heart of a young athlete. It'll take more than that to slow me down.
Well, I would not take that as a sign to start a sporting career. Merci, monsieur. I find myself in a most problematic position. My associate, Monsieur Hastings, is nowhere to be found when I need him the most. There must be someone else that I can call upon. Someone to fill the shoes of Monsieur Hastings. For the time being, at least. The obvious choice would be Monsieur Demir. But I wonder if he is suited to the task that is required.
So, also. Deswegen. Babanya. Sie ist doch total verdächtig, oder nicht? Klar, sie hat ein Alibi, aber...
only ask.
I have a rather unusual request.
Go on.
I require a distraction. I promise you will come to no harm and...
Who am I to distract, and from what?
Monsieur Aylesworth, I need to gain access to his office without his watchful eye.
Detective Poirot? Preparing to cross the line of law?
Not cross, merely tiptoe alongside.
I assume you have already devised a plan?
A requested tour of the Royal Society of Art building should give me appropriate time.
Then that is what I shall do.
The door has been left ajar, exactly as required. I could hear Monsieur Aylesworth fumbling around behind his door on my last visit, and combined with his hesitation to open his door to me, I can presume he had something he did not want Detective Poirot to see.
New mind map unlocked. Speaking with Monsieur Demir, my suspicion has only increased. Could Monsieur Aylesworth have faked his heart attack? I must speak to him. Aber wir sind ja gerade nicht bei Speak, wir untersuchen seinen Raum, und zwar ohne seine Erlaubnis. Acting suspicious. Mortimer was up to something suspicious before he answered the door. Questionable noises. Thumps, the bang of objects dropping, and gurgling sounds. Very strange. Glass rattling sound. I had not expected Monsieur Aylesworth to be so clumsy. Wooden thump sound. Something heavy and wooden fell to the ground. Also, das müssen wir jetzt alles finden. Das können wir uns schon mal nicht anschauen. Hier ist auch nichts. Nochmal ein Safe. Hier ist echt in jedem Raum irgendein Safe. Na, hier gibt es aber echt wenig erstmal. Schauen wir mal hier unter den Tisch. Waste Paper Bin. It would be careless not to dispose of anything incriminating, but not overly surprising. Hier ist schon mal nichts. Ah, Drawer. Also, wir haben hier auf jeden Fall eine Kanone. One must be careful with firearms around, especially when left in an unlocked drawer. Da sind auch Patronen. Hier ist ein Brief, ein Buch. Was ist das? A spoon, likely from a set. ICS is engraved. Ah, hier unten liegt was.
Oh.
The missing queen, such an important and integral part of one's force, should not be so carelessly discarded. Benutzt er den Löffel für seine Drogen? Also schauen wir uns das Chess-Set an, nachdem die Dame fehlt. A beautiful chess set, also the queen is missing. Löschen. Der hat auch einen Haufen Bilder hier rumhängen. Globe. Kann man den vielleicht öffnen? One would usually find such furniture as filled with a variety of alcohol. Ein Bookshelf. Kann man das verschieben? A collection of different texts. He is certainly well read. Da ist das gleiche Wappen drauf. Eine Zeitung. Ein Koffer. Ah, Moment. Groove on the floor. Das Ding verschiebt sich. There is a man-made groove on the floor where the globe was positioned. Also den kann man wohl wegschieben und dann das Bücherregal. Aber was hat das mit dem Schachbrett zu tun? Dass ein Schalter dafür ist? Oh, hier gibt es 3 Hinweise. Also, Bookshelf und Groove passt zusammen. Chess Set und Chess Piece.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
A fallen queen, almost as disastrous as fallen king. Chess set was knocked over. Ob man den Globe verschieben kann vielleicht? War das das Brett?
The The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
How clumsy of him. Monsieur Aylesworth knocked the chess set over on his way to answer the door. Und im Globus sind die Gläser drin.
Voila.
Monsieur Aylesworth moved the globe, causing the bottles inside to rattle. Chess set knocked over on the way to answer the door. Globe moved. Ja, gehören die vielleicht zusammen?
Something just does not feel right.
Ich glaube, die zwei habe ich gerade ausprobiert, ne? Globe moved und Chess Set. Ich hätte gedacht, dass er mit dem Globe das Chess Set umgeschmissen hat. Passt aber nicht. Wir haben also Bookshelf und Groove, Chess Set, Queen. Knocked over Wooden Thumb. Jetzt war das runtergeschmissen. Der Globe hat gerattelt und dann kam jetzt... Es muss ja einer von den beiden sein hier, der jetzt noch irgendwie dazugehört. Vielleicht zu dem Bookshelf?
I cannot see the logic in this.
Ne. Ich meine, der hat das Bookshelf verschoben und dann, um daran zu kommen, musste den verschieben. Vielleicht suspicious.
This will not get me any closer to...
Eieiei, es gibt Chess Set was knocked over zweimal. Hier und hier. Und ich habe den mit dem versucht. Aber das ist nicht der richtige, sondern der da.
Hot on the culprit's heels.
Eieiei. It's possible Monsieur Aylesworth was up to something by the bookshelf. Ach was. Da hätte ich gar nicht das alles gebraucht, sondern hätte mir die Groove am Boden gereicht. When I return home, I shall check every bookshelf and crevice of the house. It appears almost mandatory to have a hidden room. What this one holds, I can only imagine. The wicked and banal smell of English tea.
Put your hands up and step away from there.
Monsieur, there is no need.
Enough of your phony pleasantries. Let's see what the real police have to say.
The first thing they would notice is the politician aiming his revolver at an officer while they are conducting official police business.
I'm sure they would agree. I have every right to protect myself from a foreign intruder.
If you were to lower the gun, perhaps we could discuss the situation we find ourselves in.
You may have authority in your own country, but not here. Now, explain yourself.
It appears I must choose my words carefully here. What is your plan now? You have an officer of the law, a visitor to your country, held at gunpoint in your office. I encourage you to call the authorities. Perhaps they would be interested to take a look around themselves. I'm sure the newspapers would be most enthralled to hear the story of a politician that faked a heart attack in the name of insurance fraud. Ah ja. Insurance. Passt das? Da wissen wir noch gar nichts drüber.
You don't know what you're talking about.
If that is true, why am I here? There are no victims to your crimes. You still have a chance to end it here. There's no coming back. What may come next if you don't drop the gun?
Enough! I need a second to think about all this. How has it all come to this?
Ich glaube, das waren keine guten Antworten, die wir ihm da gegeben haben.
No, it's not my fault. It's...
It is not too late. Your intentions were good. Scotland Yard will look sympathetically at...
If you had just left that fool Hardwick to it, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have to do this.
I have done nothing but remain honorable to my oath to uphold the law. It is Monsieur's choices and actions that have brought us to this point. And he must accept responsibility for what is to come.
Aua. Ja, das waren wohl die schlechten Antworten. Hm?
All the better for seeing you, Hastings.
Hat er die Tür aufgemacht und ihn umgehauen? Eieiei.
I was worried I was going to miss him.
Your timing and accuracy could not have been more perfect.
What do we do now?
We take our leave.
And what about him? Will he be okay?
He shall be fine. Although I am not envious of the sore head he will awake to. Come, there is much to tell.
Also erstens hätte ich ihm die Waffe weggenommen und dann hätte ich hinter dem Bookshelf nochmal nachgeschaut. Was war denn da jetzt?
Monsieur Dryden, how are you?
Also so ganz verstanden habe ich das jetzt nicht. Was ist denn da jetzt passiert? Aber da kommt sicher noch eine Zusammenfassung von Poirot.
Detective...
Poirot.
Yes, of course. What can I do for you?
Is Mademoiselle Farquhar working today?
She is, but not here, I'm afraid.
Do you know where she is?
She said something about heading back to the museum.
Would you allow us access into your dark room?
For what, exactly?
Forgive me. I recently inherited a number of belongings from a deceased relative, including an undeveloped spool of film.
I'd like to help, but there isn't anyone here that could develop them for you.
I am more than capable, and I'll leave it tidier than when we arrived.
In that case, knock yourselves out. I've got a meeting to run to anyway. I shouldn't be longer than half an hour or so.
Pardon. Where has this confident and daring version of Monsieur Hastings been hidden?
We all have a hidden side. It's just our own choice of when to show it.
Ja, schon seltsam, wie er uns die ganze Zeit angeschaut hat.
First step is...
Don't tell me there is something the great Detective Poirot doesn't know.
I must concede that photography is something I have little experience in.
Lucky I'm here then. We need to start with a tray filled with developing fluid. Next, pour the fixer fluid into another tray and then add the photographic paper.
I have a newfound respect for those that make such activities look so simple.
Let's just wait until we see the results. It shouldn't take long.
I shall use my time wisely and see what truths this room may hold. Radio.
Huh.
Music can make even the most laborious tasks more manageable. Oh, was haben wir hier? Window. Ach so, wir haben es nicht gedreht. Ne?
Oh.
The window is painted shut. Photo paper. Used specifically in the development of photographs. Wir haben es eins geklaut. I believe this is for producing photographic prints. Cupboard under the sink. Ob da Harry wohnt? Unlabeled bottle. I always want to know what is inside if it doesn't have the appropriate information. No label. Infuriating. I will never understand how people can work in such amateur fashion. The answer was staring me in the face. Was für eine Answer? Müssen wir das jetzt selber entwickeln, irgendwas? So. Was haben wir hier? Drehen wir das mal weiter. Ein Hat. Mademoiselle Farquhar has a hat that looks almost identical to the one that Mademoiselle Smythe wore to the gala. I knew I had seen that style of hat somewhere before. Trays. A tray for liquid relating to the development process. Müssen wir das jetzt selber machen? Trays. Dann drehen wir mal weiter. Haben wir hier irgendwas Interessantes? Und vor allen Dingen, wie kommt man eigentlich hier hoch? Also wie viele Meter sind denn das? Wenn er jetzt, sagen wir mal, erstmal 1,75 oder sowas groß, lassen wir mal 1,80 groß sein, dann sind das, ja, das Doppelte hier, ne? Also 3,60 Meter oben, da sind hier die Dinger oben. Hey, 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 hey. Und was sind das hier für Räume? Elend hoch. Sehr seltsam und nichts Interessantes hier drin. Da haben wir noch was. Light Switch. Ich glaube, wir machen lieber nicht das Licht an.
Oh.
The lights must remain off when developing photographs, so as not to damage them.
Have you found it yet?
Was denn? The unlabeled bottles.
You want the photographic fixer?
And how would one know it from another?
It smells like ammonia. Handy, I suppose, when you can't see much in here.
Bitter almonds. The distinct smell of potassium cyanide. Das sollten wir lieber nicht benutzen. Ammonia, just as Monsieur Hastings said. Mademoiselle Farquhar had access to the same poison that killed Mademoiselle Smythe. One does not believe in coincidences. Vielleicht müssen wir vorher erst eine Verbindung herstellen noch, bevor wir da reden. Fotofixer, Potassium Cyanide. Gut. Also wir wollen ja die Bilder entwickeln. Wo waren die Trays? Da hinten irgendwo. Hier. Ah, die Maustaste. Jetzt geht nämlich doch die rechte Maustaste und geht nicht ins Menü rein. Eieiei. Fotofixer. Was haben wir?
Monsieur Hastings, may we talk a moment?
I'm in the middle of developing these. Can it wait?
I'm afraid not.
We must discuss Mademoiselle Farquhar.
I've already been over this, Poirot. I don't want to argue.
I have no intentions of continuing our previous conversation. What we must address now is her potential guilt.
She didn't steal the painting, though. We know that.
Her guilt in Mademoiselle Smythe's murder.
Merci.
Wir müssen, glaube ich, erst die Bilder entwickeln. Aber er macht's noch nicht. Weiß noch nicht warum. Müssen wir jetzt erstmal das hier nehmen hier, ne? Use Photo Paper. I believe this is for producing photographic prints. Perhaps the photograph paper is what is required. So, haben wir das jetzt wieder? So. Hat er das jetzt gemacht? Dann als nächstes hier bitte rein. Ah. Und nu? Da haben wir jetzt alles drin. Mit Hastings nochmal reden.
Monsieur Hastings, may we talk?
I'm in the middle.
Exit.
Merci.
Gut.
Aha.
Er hatte das Bild jetzt hier reingeschmissen, also mir ist nicht ganz klar, was er hier tut. Weil wir haben ja eigentlich gar nichts dabei im Inventar.
Okay, I think that's everything.
Okay, wir werden das nochmal machen müssen. Weil wir die Reihenfolge nicht eingehalten haben.
Oh,
Is there a problem?
there shouldn't be, but there must be light coming in from somewhere.
Is that not the point of a dark room? That it will allow no light in to damage the photographs?
We need to find where the light's coming in from and damaging the prints.
You continue your work, and I shall find the curious light source.
Oder das Fenster abhauen.
Huh. Huh.
If I am to see what surrounds me, I must illuminate the room. Oh nö. Ich meine, hier ist ja Licht. Aber da kann ich klicken, solange ich lustig bin. Und nu? Hallo, Licht. Kannst auch nicht drehen. Komm auch nicht raus. Wieder so eine Stelle, wo ich an ein ganz gewisses Pixel dran klicken muss. Und hier ist das Licht. Jetzt habe ich hier aber schon an jede Stelle geklickt. Tja, ich fürchte, wir sehen uns gleich wieder, wenn ich es gefunden habe, woran es liegt. Was war denn das jetzt? Also ich habe irgendwie aus einer Kombination aus Escape und Space oder sowas, irgendwie bin ich wieder rausgekommen. Versuchen wir nochmal. Zweimal Escape und dann war ich wieder da. Was ist denn das für eine Steuerung? Ey, sorry Leute, aber das ist echt schlecht. The window merely appears to be painted shut, but it has been opened recently. Here, a gap. The window looks out onto a back lane. The trusted handkerchief, perfect to patch up any gaps of incoming light.
Monsieur Hastings, may we talk a moment?
I'm in the middle of developing these. Can it wait?
I'm afraid not.
We must discuss Mademoiselle Farquhar. Mademoiselle Farquhar could be our murderer. Mademoiselle Farquhar could have exited the dark room via a window.
Mr. Poirot, you are a genius.
Did Mr. Dryden say he never heard anything happen? Mademoiselle Farquhar has a hat. Music can make even the most... Ah ja, gut.
Mr. Poirot, you are a genius.
Haben wir das Radio an? Could Miss Carlsam not have spotted Miss Farquhar entering the flat? Ja, da passt jetzt der Hat zum Flat.
That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. Look, this photograph is just about finished.
Ich muss vermutlich wieder Escape oder sowas drücken, oder? Oder wieder Doppel-Escape, damit ich hier rauskomme, weil hier geht schon wieder gar nichts. Aber nehmen wir doch mal diesen Cliffhanger auf. Und ich würde sagen, machen wir an dieser Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.